The Rendlesham Forest Incident is one of the most significant and widely discussed UFO encounters in British history. Often referred to as the British Roswell, this event took place over several nights in late December 1980 near the Rendlesham Forest, close to two U.S. military bases, RAF Woodbridge and RAF Bentwaters, located in Suffolk, England. Both were being used by the United States Air Force, USAF, at the time, which added to the mystery and credibility surrounding the incident. Several credible witnesses, including U.S. Air Force personnel, claimed to have observed strange lights and craft-like objects in the forest, sparking decades of speculation, conspiracy theories, and investigations. Although official explanations have been provided, many still believe that what occurred in Rendlesham was an extraterrestrial encounter. This case, sometimes compared to the famous Roswell UFO incident in the United States, has become an iconic event in the history of UFO sightings. Let's explore the key details of what happened during those mysterious nights, the testimonies of the witnesses, and the long-term impact of the Rendlesham Forest Incident. The Rendlesham Forest is situated between the two military air bases of RAF Woodbridge and RAF Bentwaters. At the time of the incident, both bases were under the control of the United States Air Force, playing a significant role during the Cold War. RAF Woodbridge, in particular, had a highly sensitive status, as it was home to nuclear weapons, though this was kept classified for many years. The proximity of the bases to the Rendlesham Forest and the presence of American military personnel on active duty meant that the witnesses were trained, reliable individuals, familiar with aircraft and military operations. This lent credibility to their reports of strange phenomena and heightened the intrigue surrounding the case. The incident began in the early hours of December 26, 1980, when personnel from RAF Woodbridge reported strange lights descending into the forest. The initial sighting was made by a security patrol near the east gate of the base. According to reports, they saw a bright object descending from the sky and disappearing into the trees of Rendlesham Forest. Believing that an aircraft might have crashed, the patrol set out to investigate. Three key witnesses, Sergeant Jim Peniston, Airman John Burroughs, and Airman Edward Cabansag, entered the forest to locate the source of the lights. As they approached, they noticed something extraordinary. Peniston, Burroughs, and Cabansag later described seeing the glowing object, approximately 2 to 3 meters wide and 1 to 2 meters tall. It was metallic in appearance and seemed to hover or rest on tripod-like legs. Peniston, who got the closest to the object, claimed to have seen strange symbols or hieroglyphs on its surface, which he sketched in his notebook. He also reported feeling an electric charge in the air and hearing no sounds from the craft, despite its close proximity. The object emitted a pulsating red and blue light, which flickered rhythmically. After several minutes of observing the object, it suddenly shot up into the sky at incredible speed, leaving the witnesses stunned. Upon returning to the base, the three men filed reports and were visibly shaken by the experience. However, despite the event being documented by military personnel, no immediate action was taken to investigate the sighting further that night. 2 nights later, on December 28, 1980, the strange lights reappeared. This time, the deputy base commander, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt, decided to personally investigate the reports. Halt had initially been skeptical of the claims, but he was soon to experience something that would change his perspective. Armed with a small team of soldiers, Halt ventured into the Rendlesham Forest with recording equipment, a Geiger counter to detect radiation, and military personnel carrying light sources. The team followed the lights deeper into the forest, and what they encountered would later be known as Halt's tape, a nearly 20-minute audio recording of their experience. During the investigation, Halt's team noticed glowing red, orange, and white lights moving through the trees. One of the lights appeared to split into multiple smaller lights, which darted erratically through the forest. At one point, the men observed a bright beam of light being emitted from an object in the sky, which seemed to illuminate the forest floor. Halt described the lights as behaving in a way unlike any known aircraft or natural phenomenon. The Geiger counter registered elevated radiation levels at the site where the original sighting occurred, adding another layer of mystery to the incident. On the tape, Halt can be heard describing the movement of the lights and expressing his disbelief at what they were witnessing. At one point, he notes that one of the lights appeared to hover over RAF Woodbridge, shining a beam down towards the base, as if scanning the area. Following the events of December 26th and 28th, the Rendlesham Forest Incident became the subject of numerous investigations, both official and unofficial. Within days of the sightings, reports were filed with both British and American authorities. However, these reports were met with mixed reactions. Lieutenant Colonel Halt's memo, known as the Halt Memorandum, was sent to the British Ministry of Defence, MOD, and outlined the events witnessed by military personnel. Halt's memo was brief and factual, but it contained enough details to spark interest among UFO researchers and the media. Despite this, the British government officially concluded that the incident did not pose any threat to national security and thus required no further investigation. This dismissal, however, did little to quell the growing public fascination with the case. In 1983, the incident gained widespread attention when it was covered in a series of British newspapers and TV programs. This led to the release of more information, including the accounts of Penniston and Burroughs and Halt's audio tape. As more witnesses came forward, it became clear that the Rendlesham Forest Incident was far from an isolated event. Some investigators, including prominent UFO researchers, suggested that the lights seen by Halt's team and others were caused by the nearby Orford Ness Lighthouse, whose beam was visible from the forest. However, many witnesses, including Halt himself, dismissed this explanation, pointing out that the lights they observed behaved in ways inconsistent with a lighthouse beam. One of the most compelling aspects of the Rendlesham Forest Incident is the number of credible eyewitnesses who have come forward to describe their experiences. Many of these individuals were members of the U.S. Air Force, trained in observation and familiar with various types of aircraft and atmospheric phenomena. Their testimonies provided consistent accounts of strange lights and unexplained objects in the forest. Sergeant Jim Penniston's testimony, Penniston's account, is perhaps the most detailed. He claimed not only to have seen the object up close, but to have touched it and observed strange symbols on its surface. In later interviews, Penniston stated that after touching the craft, he experienced a sort of telepathic download of binary code, which he recorded in his notebook. Years later, Penniston had the binary code translated, and some believe it contains coordinates and cryptic messages, though this claim is highly controversial. John Burroughs' testimony. Burroughs was also present during the first night of the encounter and described seeing the craft, but, unlike Penniston, did not get as close. However, Burroughs has expressed frustration over the handling of the incident by the military and has even suggested that he and others who were exposed to the phenomenon may have suffered from health problems as a result. Colonel Charles Halt's testimony. As the deputy base commander, Halt's account carries significant weight. His recorded observations during the second night, as well as his subsequent reports, provide a first-hand account of the strange lights and phenomena in Rendlesham Forest. Halt has remained vocal about his belief that what he witnessed was not of terrestrial origin. Over the years, discrepancies between different accounts have emerged, leading to debate over the true nature of the incident. Some witnesses, like Penniston, have provided highly detailed descriptions, while others have offered more ambiguous reports. These conflicting accounts have only added to the mystery and fueled further speculation.